morning. How are you today? By the way, I am Teacher John and I am going to guide you as we learn how to solve routine and non-routine word problems involving volume of rectangular prisms and cubes. We will be having fun, but you need to pay attention because at the end of this lesson, you are expected to be able to solve routine and non-routine word problems involving volumes of rectangular prism and cube. I will give you 20 seconds to prepare your module, your paper, and your ball pen. And we start. Okay, I think you are ready. Now let us see how much you know about our lesson. Turn your module on page 4 and 5 and do the exercises written on that pages. I will give you 30 seconds to answer that. Your time starts now.
So there are 10 questions that you are going to answer on this part. Each item has 4 choices and you are going to select the letter of your answer and write them on your answer sheet. Right, so for question number 1, what is the first step you need to do when you solve a word problem? A. Understand the problem. B. Solve for the answer. C. Verify your answer. D. Plan your move. Question number 2. The last thing you need to do in solving word problem is blank. A. Understand the problem. B. Solve for the answer. And C. Verify your answer. D. Plan your move. Items 3 to 5, you are going to get your answer from this problem. A rectangular prism is 8 centimeters long, 4 centimeters high, and 5 centimeters wide. What is the volume of the prism? Question number 3. What is asked in the problem stated? A. The height of the prism. B. The length of the prism. C. The width of the prism. And D. The volume of the prism. Question number 4. What operation are you going to use to solve the problem? A. Addition. B. Division. C. Multiplication. D. Subtraction. Question number 5. What would be the number sentence? A. 8 centimeters plus 4 centimeters plus 5 centimeters equals n. B. 8 centimeters minus 4 centimeters minus 5 centimeters equals n. C. 8 centimeters times 4 centimeters times 5 centimeters is equal to n. And D. 8 centimeters divided by 4 centimeters divided by 5 centimeters equals n. Question number 6. What unit is used in measuring volume? A. Cubic unit. B. Quarterly unit. C. Square unit. D. Unitary unit. Question number 7. Leo bought a box of letter cubes. Each letter cube is a 1-unit cube. How many letter cubes are there in a box which measures 4 units by 2 units by 8 units? A. 14. B. 32. C. 64. D. 128. Question number 8. A 2 meter by 2 meter by 3 meter water tank is full. How much water is in the tank? A. 1 5/10 cubic meter. B. 2 cubic meters. C. 6 cubic meters. And D. 12 cubic meters. Question number 9. Container A measures 3 centimeters by 4 centimeters by 2 centimeters. It is full. Container B measures 4 centimeters by 3 centimeters by 5 centimeters. It is empty. If the content of container A is emptied into container B, how many cubic centimeters remains to be filled in container B? A. 15 cubic meters. B. 24 cubic centimeters. C. 36 cubic centimeters. D. 60 cubic centimeters. Question number 10. A cube compost pit is dug for composting purposes. If the edge measures 5 meters, how much compost can the pit contain? A. 15 cubic meters. B. 25 cubic meters. C. 50 cubic meters. D. 125 cubic meters.
You may now check your answers. So here are the key answers for your guide. Time's up. You may now check your answers. So here are the key answers for your guide. Did you get all the correct answers? If not, don't worry because we are going to learn them one by one. Moving on, let us recall the volume of solids. There is an activity that you are going to do, and this is on the volume of rectangular prisms and cubes. Just follow the instruction given, and you are given 1 minute to do the activity. Proceed.
So let us have the volume, or let us solve the volume of the figures shown. Now let's have the volume of the cube. So the measurement of the side of the cube is 5 centimeters. So if we are going to look for the volume, if we are going to solve for the volume, we are going to use this formula. Volume is equal to side times side times side. So let us substitute S with 5 centimeters. So volume now is 5 centimeters times 5 centimeters times 5 centimeters. Right, so for the answer now, we have 5 times 5 is 25. And then we multiply it again by 5, you get 125. So the unit of measurement, we have centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. So we will have now cubic centimeters. So the final answer is 125 cubic centimeters. Okay, so let's also have the volume of the rectangular prism, which is figure B. We use this formula in finding the volume of a rectangular prism. Volume is equal to length times width times height. So let us substitute L with 12 centimeters, W with 3 centimeters, and H with 7 centimeters. So 12 centimeters times 3 centimeters times 7 centimeters. If you compute that, you will arrive at 252 cubic centimeters. Okay, so that is the volume of cubes and rectangular prisms. Cubes and rectangular prisms also are involved in solving word problems. That is our next activity. And there are types of problems. Listen very well as we discuss them.
So let us learn how to solve word problems. We will do this step by step.
Right, so we have to know that there are two kinds of word problems. We have the routine problems and the non-routine problems. So routine problems are
Problems that involve using at least one of the four operations to solve problems that are practical in nature and often met in your daily activities. Non-routine problems, on the other hand, are complex problems that require some degree of creativity or originality to solve. It usually does not have apparent strategy for solving it. So it is up to you to find for strategies or to devise any plan in order to solve this problem. So oftentimes, this problem can be solved in multiple ways, meaning you need to use more than two operations to solve the problem. So let's have an example for routine problems. So a swimming pool has a length of 12 meters, a width of 9 meters, and a height of 6 meters. How much water is needed to fill the pool? So let us apply the steps in solving word problems that we have discussed earlier. So first, we need to understand the problem. So in understanding the problem, we have to know what is asked. So what do you think is asked in this problem? So it is the amount of water to fill the pool. So another thing you need to know is the given or are the given data. So what are the given data in this problem? So we have the length of the pool, which is 12 meters, the width of the pool, which is 9 meters, and the height of the pool, which is 6 meters. So next step, we need to plan. Let us devise a plan in order to solve this problem. So first, we need to determine the operation and formula to be used. So basing on the given data and what is asked in the problem, we can say that multiplication will be used in this problem. And since the pool is an example of a rectangular prism, we are going to look for its volume. So we are going to use this formula. Volume is equal to length times width times height. So after determining the operation and the formula to be used, let's have to write the number sentence. So the number sentence here now is volume is equal to 12 meters times 9 meters times 6 meters. So we have the next step after formulating and after determining the operation to be used, we can now solve. So using the formula and the number sentence that we have formulated, let us solve the problem. So the formula again is length times width times height, and the number sentence here is volume is equal to 12 meters times 9 meters times 6 meters. So if we are going to compute that, we arrive at 648 cubic meter for its volume. So that is the final answer. Now if you want to verify, then you can use the operation opposite of the operation that we have used. So we have used multiplication here. To verify if our answer is correct, we can now do inverse using division. So let us have 648 cubic meters divided by 6 meters divided by 9 meters and divided by 12 meters. Okay, so let us also have an example of a problem for non-routine problems. A swimming pool has a length of 12 meters, a width of 9 meters, and a height of 6 meters. How much water does it contain when it is half filled? Okay, so let us solve these problems. Let us have the first step wherein we need to understand the problem. So what is asked in the problem? Okay, so in this problem, it is asking about the amount of water the pool contains when half filled. And then the given data here is the length of the pool, which is 12 meters, the width of the pool, which is 9 meters,
and the height of the pool, which is 6 meters. Now, let us proceed to step 2, wherein we are going to plan. So, in planning, we need to know the operation or operations and formula to be used. In this kind of problem, in non-routine problems, we have discussed earlier that non-routine problems involved more than one operation. So, so in this problem, you also need to know what if there is a hidden question. Of course, there is a hidden question here. So it is a must that we need to know the hidden question. So since the problem is asking about the amount of water contained by the pool when it is half filled, of course, the hidden question here is the total amount of water contained by the pool when it is full. Right, so that is the hidden. So we need to find that first in order to solve the problem. Right, so in planning, we need to determine the operation and the formula to be used. Of course, we are going to use more than one operation here. So we are going to use multiplication and division. And the formula here is volume is equal to length times width times height divided by 2. So if we write the number sentence, we have volume is equal to 12 meters times 9 meters times 6 meters divided by 2. Okay, so that is the plan, and now we can proceed solving this problem. So first, we need to solve the problem using the formula that we have formulated or we have determined in step 2. So the formula here is volume is equal to length times width times height divided by 2. And we also need to use the number sentence that we have formulated. So volume is equal to 12 meters times 9 meters times 6 meters divided by 2. Now, so if we compute that, we can proceed at 648 cubic meters divided by 2. Right, so when we divide 648 cubic meters divided by 2, we arrive at 324 cubic meters. So that is the example for non-routine word problems. There are other activities in the module, so you can do those exercises for you to practice. Right, so we can now proceed to our next activity.
You can now do the activity under What's More on pages 10 and 11 of your module. You may pause this video as you start and then come back afterwards. You may start. So, we learned in our lesson that in solving routine and non-routine word problems, we need to understand the problem first. And then, let us plan on the operation and the formula that we are going to use in order to solve the problem. So after planning, we can now solve. And after we have solved and arrived at the correct answer, let us check and look back if we did not miss anything. So, we still have activities to do, and I want you to open your module on the page where what I can do is found. You do the activity written there. After answering that, you may proceed with the post-assessment and the additional activities. I will check your answers when you pass your module and your answer sheet. Let us call it a day and see you in our next lesson.